It's Thursday morning, and it's time for Tech for Seniors Live, where technology gets its deserved deep dive. This isn't happening via Zoom, so we can't see who's joining the show. So please sign in to the chat box below as we gather around the screen, both far and wide, with curiosity as our ever-trusty guide. We'll navigate the digital seas, a knowledgeable crew, exploring all the tech tips, both old and new. No need for cameras, no need for dress. Just bring your questions and we'll address. From gadgets to apps and all the tech lore, we're here to help, to teach, and much more. So type away in the chat. Don't be shy. Our tech-savvy hosts are here to reply. It's Thursday morning. Let the tech talk flow at the Tech for Seniors Live, the best tech show.
Good morning. It's Tech for Senior Live, April the 4th, 2024. Hopefully everyone had a great Easter. I know we did. We had a lot of fun, and it is now time to get on with the show. We are, of course, we have our esteemed panel, which I'll introduce in just a minute, but you're probably wondering who we are. Well, we're a group of seniors that like to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, right? So anyway, so we decided that we have a Monday show. By the way, if you haven't come and seen us on Monday, it's a lot of fun. We're in our 5th season, 5 years we've been doing it, and we have an hour-long show every Monday, but it's a Zoom meeting, right? It's a Zoom meeting, which is fun because we can see everybody, talk to everybody, and have a good time. And at least but it is, you do have to come to the Zoom meeting. I will put, let me just have a look here. This is all the information. If you would like to join us on Monday, we're happy to have you. And that, of course, is all the details are just at our www.techforsenior.com. However, I see, even as I look over on my other screen here, there are people logging in to our Zoom meeting expecting to see this show. And that's not the case. This is not a Zoom meeting. And of course, we broadcast this out with StreamYard, and it goes out to YouTube and our Facebook channel. So if you're over there in our Zoom meeting, we'll see you on Monday. But otherwise you need to be in the right spot. And if you are on our website at techforsenior.com, you'll see a button at the top on the left side of the big red button, Take Me to the Show. Click that and it'll take you to the right place. So the other problem we have, and Bob alluded to this earlier in the preamble there, is that we don't know who you are because, of course, we don't see you. So if you are out there, you're listening to the show, please put something in the chat and let us know what the weather is, what you're doing, any questions you have, if you had a good Easter, so on and so forth. And we'd like to know, and we really appreciate that. Otherwise, we could just be talking to ourselves, which is not bad. We like to do that anyway, right? So if you're out there listening, we're going to be talking anyway. So we've already been talking for the previous hour before the show started. So anyway, I would just put something in the chat, and that would be great. I think that's about. Let me just introduce everybody. We'll just take this off. And let me introduce everybody. Well, we have, of course, I'm Ron Brown. I live on a little island off the coast of Western Canada on Vancouver Island. I've had a fun week this week because I ditched my cable services and now have fiber. And I'll be talking all about that this Monday on our Monday show, and it's been a blast. And so, anyway, well, more to come on that, but it's pretty cool. And of course, we have with us today a man that everyone knows. He's very popular. He does a lot of presentations all across Canada and the United States. He lives far, far away, though, in a different country, in a little state in eastern United States called Florida. And he lives in a little place called Bradenton, Florida. And so we talk all the time, but we talk, of course, through the wires through the magic of internet, right, Huey?
Yep. No, we've never met.
No, we've never actually met. Which is sort of weird. I've met Bob and I've met Ray, but I've never met you.
Yeah, so, I met Bob, Ray, and Bill James. But
yeah. So anyway, well, you never know. Sometime in the future, right? So you're having a good week?
Absolutely. Last night we did the Stug meeting, and Bill James talked about Chromebooks, and we had a good attendance, and it was a great meeting, and he did a great job. So
very good, very good. And of course, we have also with us today a man who needs little in the way of introduction because he has been with the show since we started. He's a security expert. He talks all across the country about security issues, but not just a security guy. He also talks about all sorts of technology, and he makes a lot of videos about all that as well. So we are so pleased to have such a smart guy, Mr. Bob Gostisha. He's here today and is going to tell us all this. He's going to keep us online, right, Bob? You're the steadying force of our group here. We sometimes get off in tangents, and you can bring us back to reality, right?
Yeah, reality. We all come back to reality right. When the bad guys get a hold of us. This is what we've got to be careful of.
That's right.
Better.
So what's happening in Los Lunas? Are you warming up or what?
Yeah, we're supposed to hit 76 today. I can't believe it. We aren't there yet. We're at 55 right now, but 76 is great for me.
I think that's our high in Florida today, too.
Really? And then, of course, not last but least, but he is a man who is, I'm going to say he's probably the most popular guy on our Monday show because everybody logs in. They want to listen to the music. And Ray, of course, is our music director on our show on Monday. And he has been there for, again, almost since we started. And he does the music outro, and he has these great selections each week he chooses. He's also a very knowledgeable person, as he's the president of APCUG, which is the National Computer Organization. He's also the treasurer of that organization, and he talks all over the world on music clubs and how to create music clubs. So he's a smart guy and a very nice man. So welcome, Ray.
Thank you so much, Ron. Your introductions are always outstanding. I have a hard time living up to them. I can tell you that I did join the group about 2 months after you started back in the year 2020. So we've been around for a while.
Your playlist. So I make a playlist. Ray has a playlist of all this music. I've actually never looked at how many is on that playlist, but it must be about 300 or 400 songs. I bet you could play that and it would go for a week, eh?
Well, multiply 52 times 4.
Let me think now. Do I have that many frozen fingers?
Yeah.
Exactly. So, welcome. What's the weather? Are you warming up too? What's happening?
Oh, yeah. Let me see. It's 54 degrees now.
Yeah.
Beautiful sunny day. Perfect for the sunroof to be open. And I'm watching the weather back east in New England and places like that. They're getting snow.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
It's the beginning of April, and they're getting snowstorms. I don't remember that when I lived back east so many years ago.
Yeah, I was telling Huey this morning. Yesterday it was a beautiful day yesterday. Just such a sunny, beautiful day. I got my bike out and went for an hour and a half bike ride. Then about after supper last night, my eyes swelled up. I was sneezing and I thought I might be coming down with something. And then I thought, oh no, it's allergies. And so I took a Claritin, hopped in, had a big shower, and washed all that pollen off, and took another Claritin and went to bed. And I survived and feel much better this morning, but it is pollen season, right?
You're in a good position, Ron, because you don't have to call a doctor.
Yeah, right.
Doctor, heal thyself, but that's bad advice.
Huey, is there anyone listening to us?
Yeah, actually, we have a few people.
Really? That's quite unusual.
Yeah.
Mike Saunders from Amsham, United Kingdom. There you go. Good afternoon. So it must be, yes, great. Gene from Western Pennsylvania, snow and rain 38. Yeah, see, right? Snow and rain 38 degrees. Wow. Mike Lehman from Moncton, New Brunswick. We are expecting snow today. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Gene says Western Pennsylvania 38 degrees, snow and rain. Bernard, Sterling Heights Computer Club in Detroit, Michigan. Liz from Ohio. Hi, Liz.
Yeah, Mike. This is Mike.
Mike.
Ungerman. Yep.
Oh, Mike Ungerman. Oh, Mike. Okay. Great sunny EV charging day from the Central Florida today. Yep. Steve Powell, Kirkland, Washington. 42 degrees and cloudy. Jim Taliman, good afternoon from Venice, Florida. Bobby hitting 90 degrees over in Phoenix. Oh, so Phoenix is getting really, really cooking. I know I was talking to people at Silveridge, our resort that I used to be in, and they said like most of the people have left now, because of course they've all gone home because they leave by April the 1st so they don't have to pay that extra month. So they've all left. There's pretty much nobody left there. They've all, not a good time to be on the highway. You're going to have a lot of RVs moving, eh? Sally says, expecting more rain soon from Kirkland, Washington. So far today, at least up in Comox here, it's been absolutely smashing. Beautiful sunny weather so far. Is that it?
Yep.
Okay, great. Well, let's get on. Let's get on with the news. I wanted to, before we get into all the news stories, the big story, of course, this week, let me just bring this up here. The big story this week was Gmail turned 20, right?
Yep.
So this was a big story. If you may or may not remember that Gmail was initially started on an April the 1st, and when it came out, it of course, because of the services it offered and 1 gigabyte of storage free in the cloud, and it was like people thought it was an April Fool's joke, right? And not only that, but you had to be invited to join. So in fact, my daughter said to me, Dad, you got to ditch that old email address that you've got, and you got to come to Gmail. I said, what the heck is Gmail? And she said, I'll invite you. So she did. And, that was 20 years ago, and I've had my same email address for 20 years. So it is interesting. Not without some controversy, though. Now, I just thought I'd quickly go around. Oh, one of the things I want to do is I want to limit our talk to about 10 minutes on this so we can do the other one. I want to talk about Copilot. So we could talk about this for an hour, I'm sure, but we're going to do this quickly so we can do that. But anyway, I want to go around there and I'll sort of tell everyone that. So Huey, you have more email addresses than you can count on your fingers and toes, correct?
Yeah, but Gmail, at one time I had 35 Gmail accounts, okay. But and then I had a service that I got, it was called Inbox, and it was changed to a Gmail several years later, and I still have that one. I have my own domain name on it, and I can have as many addresses as I want with that one, okay. With my own domain.
Okay.
I got a lot of email addresses.
So Bob is like me. We only ever have had one. Bob and I are the same. We got one. That's it. It's just one email address. Okay. And that's Bob and I both have Gmail addresses. And Ray has what? You've got four.
Four. I have one for APCUG. That's required when you're part of that organization. I have one. My Gmail account is only family and friends. That's the only one I give out. So I get no spam on that one, hardly at all. Then I have one that is just for signing on to websites. Okay. And then I have the one, my Hotmail account is for organizations I belong to. And okay. I use Microsoft Outlook, which is an email client. So I don't have to be opening up 4 addresses every day and looking at. My email client does it all for me. I just go down the list, but I love keeping my activities in life separated that way.
All right. Let me just now. I'm gonna talk about this article that was posted about Gmail, and I want to go over a few of the features because there were a lot of articles this week and a lot about historical stuff, but this sort of points at some of the not so nice features about Gmail, or ones you might want to think about. So, except as Gmail and countless tech companies in its wake have taught us, there's no such thing as free. Using Gmail came with a trade-off that's now commonplace. You get access to its service, and in exchange, Google gets your data. Specifically, its software could scan the contents of account holders' emails and use the information to serve them for personalized ads on the site's sidebar. For better or worse, it was a groundbreaking approach. So there's now just under 2 billion, not million, 2 billion. There was 1 billion in 2016, and they have now just under 2 billion users. So I guess it's popular, right? And so I guess people aren't really worried about now. To be fair, the scanning of all your email and all that's sort of gone by the way now, as in a lot of ways. But for a long time, you really did give up all your personal information because they looked at everything and created ads for you, right? But people didn't really care because it was a great service.
If you're on the internet, you have no privacy. Yeah. You need to realize that.
You do. All right, let's see what else they said. So now, oh crap, I can't see. Gmail is either too good to be true, or it's height of corporate arrogance, especially coming from a company whose motto is "Don't be evil." Tech journalist Paul Boutin wrote in Slate, when Gmail launched, Boutin, one of its early media testers, wrote favorably about Google's email scanning, but suggested the company implement a way for users to opt out lest they reject it entirely. This was immediate backlash from those who consider Gmail to be a privacy nightmare, yet it grew. It generated a lot of hype thanks to its invite-only status in the first years, which spurred a reselling market for Gmail invitations at up to $150 a pop. So if you remember back in those times, so if you got an invite, you could sell your invite for up to $150. Google continued its ad-related email scanning practice for over a decade, despite the heat carrying on through Gmail's public rollout in 2007 and well into 2010s when it really started gaining traction. So people weren't really concerned about the fact that they were getting ads from all the scanning and so on and so forth, but the popularity remained there, and you could even sell your invites, which is pretty cool, eh? My daughter didn't sell me hers. She it worked.
I gave mine away on the Avast support forum.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, because I had lots and lots of invites to share. And that's what we did on a regular basis. First come, first serve. And
all right, so let's see what else. Things have changed a lot in recent years, though, with the rise of the more tech-savvy public and increased scrutiny from regulators. Gmail users on multiple occasions attempted to bring class action suits over the scanning issue. And in 2017, Google caved. That year, the company announced that regular Gmail users' emails would no longer be scanned for ad personalization. Paid account members already had that feature. So that did go away.
Yep.
And I'm not going to read all this. So it is interesting, and there can be a lot of pros and cons about Gmail, but it is certainly, with 2 billion users, very popular. I guess we have talked on our Monday show. I know that Mike Ungerman uses Proton Mail, right? And there's a lot of reason for using that. Mike says, I've been using Proton Mail for 2 years now in a paid account, 5 email addresses plus the simple login service that gives you unlimited email addresses forwarded to any of my Proton Mail addresses. Now, with the combination, I also respond to original emails using the simple login generated addresses. So Proton Mail is one thing, and Mike actually did a presentation about Proton Mail. We also Leo Laporte, which is a noted tech personality that does a lot of shows, he uses Fastmail, and Fastmail is out of Australia. And I guess so, whether it's Proton Mail or Fastmail, these are both very popular services. I guess my system, the thing that I'm thinking about, not so much, I don't really worry about my personal data and all that, because we're on, as Bob always says, we're out there anyway. It's going to happen. Mm-hmm. But I do worry about the fact that we put all our eggs in one basket, and it's the Google basket. And if something happens to your Google account, it gets crashed, says something happens and it goes away, it would be very difficult, at least for me, to recover from that. That would be a really big challenge. And so it may be interesting to look at other services that you have, just to keep diversified a bit, right?
I have several others. I never use them, but I have them.
You have them, yeah.
Yep.
Whenever a new mail service started, I always wanted to make sure I got Huey or Huey P. So I was one of the first ones to sign up. So I got all kinds of email addresses I don't even use, but I have my name.
All right. The next thing we want to do here is we're going to come down. Let's see. Here we go. Where was the title here? Yes. No, this was which one was it now?
Copilot versus Copilot Pro.
Yeah, this was which is better, Copilot Pro or Chat GPT Plus? But there was also, we talked about what's the difference between Copilot and Copilot Pro, and is it worth the $10 extra? Ray,
20.
What do you think about this? Now, we've talked about this. Everyone wants $20, right? They all want $20. So what is the difference between Copilot and Copilot Pro? Do you think it's worth it?
Well, I asked Copilot what the difference was. I think let's go to the source.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Here's what Copilot said. They said the Pro version supercharges your Copilot experience with additional features, priority access, and integration with Microsoft 365 apps, while Copilot remains a free and versatile AI tool for various tasks. Choose based on your needs and preferences, unquote. So I always like to bring costs down to what daily amounts are. So the Pro comes to about 66 cents a day. I can afford that, but I really don't have a need for it right now. I know you guys do. You use it for in a lot of areas. I just use it for answering questions specifically rather than me having to go search for answers. And I find that a fantastic tool. So for now, I'm going to stay with that free version, which is the Copilot built right into the browser that I use every day.
What do you, Huey? You do a lot of work with AI. Do you have any thoughts on that? What do you?
I don't have any of them as a paid service. Any of the ones that you ask questions to, either Copilot or Perplexity has a pro version, and Claude has a paid version. I don't pay for any of them, and a lot of times if I need to ask something, I'll ask different ones the same question just to see how close they come.
It's a good idea.
Bob?
I have the paid version of Copilot. I also have and mostly use the Progressive web app of the paid version. A Progressive web app, and I asked Copilot which of the two is the better, the PWA, Progressive Web App, or the one that is already installed and is on your toolbar. And according to Copilot, there are differences between the PWA and the one that's on your toolbar. And the one that's the PWA is actually the better of the two.
So, Bob, in your experience, like, what do you have any thoughts about paying the $20 extra to get do you see any advantage? What in summing it up, what do you think? Do you think it's worth the $20? What do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, because when you compare the two, and I do that quite often, I used the free one, the one that you have in your browser and stuff, and then I asked the exact same prompt to the paid one, and there's a vast difference in the amount of information that's given to you, the description of what you put into the prompt. There's a big difference between the paid. Yeah. And of course there's also Gemini, the paid version.
Right.
And of the two, I have to give more kudos to Copilot Pro than I do to Gemini. Gemini is pretty cut and straight. It doesn't have the personality that Copilot has. Also, if you use picture generation, text to image, you can't compare Copilot, which gives you an excellent rendition of what you ask for, compared to Gemini. Gemini is still like an infant.
Okay. All right. Well, that's very interesting news. Now, Bob, you can use, just to refresh our memory, you can use Copilot on Windows 10, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I thought that was an interesting one to bring up. There's the articles are posted on our Facebook page, so you can go and you can look at all the articles and see. Also, this week, one of the articles we'll look at today, of course, ChatGPT. They're brought out a feature now where you don't have to log in either now. So it's just available for everyone to use, and you don't even need an account or log in. So that's a big change. All right. Well, that's cool. Huey, anything before we get on to our news articles? Any comments?
Yeah, let's go ahead. I don't remember if I showed this one or not, so we'll start with this one. Yeah. Okay.
Irving, Deerfield Beach, Florida. Another week of 75.
Yeah, he's there. Then he heads north, I guess.
Anita from Sydney, BC, 7 degrees. Welcome, Anita. I think Anita's been on before on the show, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Edie, sunny and going to 68 degrees in Prescott, Arizona. Bob Baxter, Redmond, Washington, 42 degrees and overcast. I need to keep losing you. We'll try my laptop on my iPad. We're here. Honestly, we're here. And Mike says, I've turned everything off in Gmail and won't get ads and hardly any spam. Mike says, Copilot has given me better results with footnotes and references when searching technical matters as well as medical symptoms and treatments.
Yep.
So Mike, do you have the paid let me ask Mike, do you have the paid version?
No, he has the free version.
Oh, he has the free version. Oh, there he is. Oh, okay. Sorry. Right. Okay. Well, good. Well, I think I'm going to have to, Bob, I'm going to have to maybe do a little more work with Copilot. I use the free version of Chat GPT, which I quite like. So I guess I'm going to get more into Copilot and actually see what type of it's dishing up.
Install the PWA. You won't be sorry.
Yeah. And Bob, can you pay for Copilot on a monthly basis? Can you do it like $20 a month, or do you have to pay it for it on a yearly? It'd be nice to do maybe
no, it's a monthly. It's a monthly. Yep.
Might be worth giving it a test run. That's the other thing you can do is give it a test run.
You can get 1 month for free.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, that wasn't available when I started. After I started paying for it, then they said, oh, we now offer 1 month free trial. So there's no reason for anybody not to try it.
All right.
And what I like the best is there in the Bing browser, there's the Copilot button. So once you have your browser open, one click and you're in.
Now, and once you have the paid version, it's the paid version in all the things, including your browser add-on. That is also then the paid version, not the free version.
Okay. Good news. Good news. All right. Well, let's get to the news articles which people actually came to listen to us talk about. Let's add this now, and let's now I'm just going to refresh. And Huey, can you follow along with me here just to make sure I'm on track? We'll come down to the first.
Yeah,
article.
I just refreshed too.
Okay, thanks. Bob.
Online scams that play with your emotions and how not to fall for them.
Now, there's no image there. Is that a video that you put out, Bob?
Yeah, there's an image there.
I can't see the
image. We don't see it on this end.
Okay.
I don't have one.
I don't have an image on there. But if you do, click on the link there, and that will take you to a video Bob just did. Let's come down here. Ray Baxter.
Okay, Microsoft has new pricing plans for Windows 10. This is going to occur after that famous date we're all looking forward to, October 14, 2025, when Windows 10 will have officially stop being supported with updates. So it won't be cheap if you want to keep your Windows 10 computer current with security updates. The cost is going to be $61 for year one, with that amount doubling every consecutive year for a maximum of 3 years. So they're really encouraging you money-wise to switch over to Windows 11. Education customers can obtain this benefit, though, for a total of only $7 for the 3 years. So they're making it a big exception for schools. So the article points out that as of March 2024, Windows 11 has a whopping 26.72% of the market of users, while Windows 10 has more than double at almost 70%. So people have not really moved on. And I think it's because of the strict hardware requirements. People just don't want to buy a new computer until the last possible moment. So watch those sales go up next year.
That's true. There's going to be, because the other thing is too, I mean, if you've bought a computer in the last couple of years, it's got Windows 11 on it. So you're looking at fairly old computers. By the time you come to 2025, you're going to be looking at stuff that's probably going to need replacing.
Yep.
All right. Well, interesting, Ray.
All right. This is a good article on common charging mistakes that are killing your phone battery life. So it's a good article to read if you want to know about the steps you can take the battery in your phone to last as long as possible. Remember, gone are the days when we could open up our phone and just replace the battery and close it up. Those days are gone forever. So this is important do's and don'ts of prolonging battery life. One change I made recently was I have the ability in my settings to actually only let the phone charge up to 80% instead of 100. That, they point out, the battery just gets too warm when it goes to 100% all the time, particularly if you keep it plugged in. And that is a one of the things that reduces its life expectancy.
One of the things that we always like to mention and remind people is that take your phone out of the case at least every 3 or 4 months. Look at the side of it and make sure there's no swelling. Oftentimes, the battery failure, which is you can see it on looking on the side of your phone, the swelling isn't apparent when it's in the case. And you got a time bomb. If your battery starts to swell, you need to get a new battery in there quickly. So take it out of the case.
I remember when you told us that Gail had that problem with her phone.
Yeah, and she had watched my video. I made a video about it, if you guys all know, because I showed that, and she remembered it, and she said, "Oh, Ron, what's going on? That's a bomb? Don't touch it!" So anyway, we got a new phone for her. All right.
So here's another set of 3 initials that I believe you're going to be hearing more and more about as time goes on, and it's called UWB, and that stands for ultra wideband, and that's a short range wireless communication technology where the primary strength is precise location, down to it can pinpoint something within a few centimeters. And the article explains how to get started with UWB on your phone, and things like Apple AirTags and the Samsung Smart Tags. They're current applications, but expect to see UWB and many more applications planned for the future, particularly in the automotive industry.
Interesting. Well, I'm all for that. I've always said that Bluetooth is black magic, and anything that we have that's better than Bluetooth, if this is going to be better, I'm all for it. All right. And is this
this is Amazon has ditched the cashierless checkout. So they've discontinued. It used to be called Just Walk Out, and it allowed people in there in one of their fresh supermarkets to just take stuff, and as they walked out, they'd be scanned, and they'd be able to know what they've taken out of the store, and their account would be charged. They've done away with that. They still have what's called dash carts, and that's where you actually put the materials that you're buying in a cart, and then with that you can still skip the checkout line. And the article doesn't go into any detail why this change took place, but my guess is small-time thieves figured out a way to beat the system and just walked out without paying for the goods that they were stealing.
So Ray, I posted this. It may have been a different article about the same issue, and I posted that later this morning. Probably the interesting thing about the article was there were 2 reasons why they took it out. The first was the confusion in the store, because when people put things back on the, you took it and it was in your buggy, and then you put it back and you put it back in the wrong spot, it confused the system like crazy. So that was the first thing. The second thing was, this was really interesting. Although it was all paperless, cashless, everything was automated. All those transactions had to be manually checked 3 times. So they required 3 times the staff to do the back end checking, right? So in fact, it wasn't saving anything because they had all this back end staff checking all the virtual receipts, and so it was much more expensive than having someone in the store. That was in the article. So at least the one that I posted, and it was sort of interesting. So those are the 2, but it was really confusing where when people were out shopping and they took something out in their buggy, maybe they took it and showed their wife, "Do you really want this?" And she said no, and then they put it back. That really, really, really messed things up. That didn't work out very well, and it took a lot of staff. You had to have staff then go back in, and they had to try and find that item, because if that person, I guess the next person comes along and they chose that item, but it wasn't in the right place, it wouldn't be the right amount of money. It wouldn't charge them the right thing. It would get all confused. So
as you said, if they have to triple check it, there's no savings there.
That's right.
Related to that, locally, I noticed that the Walmarts now are having more cashier lines open. They're having so much trouble with people just bagging stuff and not ringing it up and so on. They're having so much loss that it's still cheaper to have a cashier than it is to have people check their own.
Walmart's not the only place that's doing this.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, Huey, I got bad news for you. Bad news.
Yeah, I saw that.
Space junk tears through Florida home. You are going to get raining space junk down in Florida there. And all these new satellites going out. What do you think about it? Are you getting worried about this?
I always have been. Who knows where they're going to fall? And it doesn't have to be ours.
I know. Anyway, this article was NASA space junk tears through Florida home. A huge chunk that could be from the International Space Station through a 2-story Florida home. So I guess as we put more stuff up, anything that goes up's got to come down, right, Bob?
I guess you wouldn't call this manna from heaven, would you?
There's a lot of space junk up there that will eventually come down. Some of it will burn up on the way down, but some will be chunks. Yep.
Yeah, and I guess most of it goes into the ocean. A lot of it goes into the water, but occasionally this is not such a good
Another reason you can't really tell when today's the day.
Yeah, exactly. This would be, oh my gosh.
Uh-huh.
All right. Now, this was an interesting article, and I'm glad I saw this article. I was so happy this morning when I saw this. I was so relieved, and it ties into Chromebooks because, as you remember, I haven't talked a lot about Chromebooks over the last few months, and that's because nothing really has happened. And a lot of it stems from what I talked about is this Chromebook Plus designation that's come out, and this confuses the whole issue. And, I was at Best Buy last week, and they really had almost no Chromebooks there. I've been watching Amazon and looking for new Chromebook Pluses coming out. Nothing really. And I'm saying, what is happening with Chromebooks? And Robbie Payne in this is the article, you read it, he said that good news this year, there's going to be a Chromebook Plus conference. Google is going to have a Chromebook Plus conference, date to be released, but probably it'll be in the next few months. It'll be a conference all about Chromebook Pluses, and a whole new set of Chromebook Pluses are just about to be released prior to the conference, and all the information there is in this article. So if you're wondering where we're going with Chromebooks, life's going to start to change, and we'll be seeing some new models coming. So I was
one of my neighbors is having trouble with her PC, and she really needs a new one. And so I'm going to bring over my Chromebook later this afternoon, set up an account for her on using it, let her use it for a week.
Sure.
Because it doesn't hurt anything. You create an account for her, and so when she then gets a Chromebook, all she has to do is open up the account with her password, and everything will be there.
Yep. So anyway, good news. I was really happy with that. I'm sort of in the back of my mind trying to, because of course my Pixelbook is really, it's getting on, and I'm going to need to replace it. I'm going to replace it with a Chromebook Plus. So I really want to see the new models and see what's going on. So I'm sort of excited about that. I'll be, of course, doing lots of videos about that, discussing that.
Before going to my next one, which is mine, I did want to bring this up. Michael Daniels, thank you very much.
Oh, Michael Daniels is listening. Thank you.
Yeah, and he donated $5 for us.
Thank you. Awesome catching up with you guys live. Well, Michael, thank you so much. Yes, that's great. Thanks a lot. Now let's come down. Huey, this is your article.
Yep. You can't count Yahoo out. I for a long time now, I've been telling people, if you're using Yahoo Mail to, eventually it's going to go away. Well, it doesn't look like Yahoo's going anywhere. They just bought another software company called Artifact, and I didn't know. I knew that they were affiliated with AOL, but they own AOL, and they own Engadget and TechCrunch, which are two news services that Bob and I look at a lot, and probably a lot of others on here do as well. And I didn't know that they were owned by Yahoo. So Yahoo's doing pretty good, all things considered.
Yeah. Okay.
Just don't use their mail service.
Yeah, I still think
of the two.
Yeah, I personally, you want to stick with Gmail, you want to stick with Hotmail, or you want to stick with Apple's email service. Those are the three you really want to stick
Yeah, but
with.
if somebody's got Yahoo Mail, it's not. It looks like it's not going away, and and I think Yahoo Mail is also was AOL Mail, so they combined, I believe. So there's, I don't.
It's just we've talked about this so much in the past, and the
Yeah.
security risks and the issues of Yahoo Mail was just so high that anyway.
Apparently, they're coming along pretty good. So.
Okay, well. Okay, Huey, DALL-E images with Chat GPT.
Yeah, I was watching a video on this morning, and then I saw the news article about it, so I went ahead and shared it. You can now edit your DALL-E images using Chat GPT.
Now in the free version?
It didn't really say, but I believe that could be.
Okay.
You may be limited somewhat, but you're able to go in and actually highlight something and say remove it or to add. I watched where it had a dog with fluffy ears and said put some bows in his ears, and bingo, they were there.
So for those of you who have been watching our watching our YouTube videos that we put out over the last 6 months for all our shows, you'll see that all the title slides I've been making up with artificial intelligent images. They're all, I just tell them what I want and it makes it up. And so you'll see a lot of different images for all the title slides of all our shows. So it's interesting. I've had a lot of fun with it. Some's good, some's not so good. It just depends. But sometimes they really are pretty good. I guess we just have to wait as it gets better with time.
Yeah, and as I do articles and videos, a lot of times I want to have an image, and instead of going to look for one, I just create one.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. And I use, of course, I use a program called Canva, and within Canva, I'm not sure if it's DALL-E they use. Well, they have actually a DALL-E app in there in Canva for making images, as well as an image generator right within the program. It does a pretty good job. I mean, sometimes it just gets it way confused, but sometimes it's right on. So it's interesting.
Give Copilot Pro a try.
I am, Bob, I think I am going to give Copilot Pro a try. I think I'm going to
try the image creation within it.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I think that's a good thought, and I'm glad we talked about that today, because I think I am going to give it a try.
Well, you've seen the images that I've used.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, good one.
This was an article we already talked about this.
Okay. Oh, this is cool. Did you guys see this article? This is so cool. Google is going to add ratings to go with its new AI tools for shoppers. And I use the Google Shopping feature all the time. So if you put in the chat, if you put in the search, you can put toothbrushes or whatever you want in the search and hit the shopping button, then you get the shopping, all the local pricing too. It goes in and looks at all the prices for whatever you want. They're going to add ratings, just like Amazon. So I thought this is a cool idea. Do you guys think that's exciting? If you think it was exciting, put it in the chat. Huey, do we have any more comments? Usually we're in the last 15 minutes.
Nothing. No, they're all so enthusiastic watching us that they aren't typing anything.
Hanging on with your fingernails right there. All right. Well, I thought that was cool. I thought that was a great one. And of course, where's Michael Daniels? Michael, if you're listening, he's probably seen this. The Pixel 9, all the leaks and everything. As you know, the big development conference for Google will be coming up. And of course, they'll be announcing, of course, for sure, the Pixel 9 series. But as per all the previous years, of course, all the leaks are out now. So this Tom's guy just put this out this morning, and I'm not going to go into all the different things, but if you want to look at it, you can do that. I will say though that the Pixel 8 they've got some great sales on it. They had the Pixel 8 Pro on, and it was $250 off. At least in Canada, this was a Canadian. They were $250, plus they would give you on your Pixel 6 $200 as a trade-in on that. My Pixel 6, which was $400 off. So that made this phone the Pixel 8 a very reasonable phone to get. And it might even get a little bit cheaper as we get into the
that's a practice I always follow. Whenever a new device is coming out, I look to see what the sales are on the previous generation, because most of the time the incremental difference, the differences are incremental, they're not major.
Yeah. So we'll see what. Anyway, so if you're interested, this is the leaks are out, right?
My Pixel 6 still takes excellent pictures. I'm not.
Yeah, Bob and I both have the Pixel 6. I quite like it. There's nothing really wrong. I just,
actually, my Pixel 5, which is now my wife's phone, it also takes excellent pictures.
Yeah. So this was an interesting article that came out this morning. I don't know if everyone out there listening has been following the cars being stolen in Canada is absolutely an incredible. It's a big problem, particularly in Ontario. Like it is, we have out of all the world, we have the most number of cars stolen in Ontario now. It's just crazy. It's really, really bad. Now, one of the ways in which they actually do this, which was interesting because they just released this was an article, is if you wanted to steal some cars, how would you find them? Well, what they do is they go to a big car lot or whatever, or parkade, like a big parkade where they've got thousands of cars in a parkade. You take your car in there and you park it. Well, they just walk through the parkade and figure out what cars they want, and they put air tags on the ones that they want to steal. And then the air tags follow the car home, and they know exactly the location of the car. And then they come around in the evening and they steal it. So I thought that was a really interesting one on not so good application for air tags. This was interesting. I don't know if you saw this, but and I'm going to talk a little more. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about this now, but this is the new Orbi mesh router that's available. It's the Wi-Fi 7, and it's it's a mesh router system, but it starting retailing for $2,300. So good for you if you want to buy that. I will tell you that I just had all this equipment, and I'll tell you more about that on Monday. All this equipment put into my home when I switched to fiber, which includes a Wi-Fi. It includes mesh router and Wi-Fi 6 and the whole thing. It's all free. There's no cost to it at all. So be careful before you go out and spend a lot of money on some of this, because if you are starting up a new service, it's all usually included. And Mike Ungerman sent me this, and this is very interesting. You will be ecstatic on this. Do you want to know why you'll be ecstatic?
Yes, I read the article, and I read articles about it a couple of months ago.
So what? And Mike was thank you, Mike, for sending this to me. This is very, very interesting. This is a piece of, I guess, the State Road 516, in which they are going to put recharging cables under the road, and as you drive along the road, it's actually going to charge your EV. Yes,
it's a toll road. It's in the process of being built, or it's going to be. Right. It won't be done until 2027. It won't be totally completed. They may have parts of it open, but they're going to go ahead and embed the charging capabilities right in the road. We've talked about that before, but never an example of one. And here's one where they're going to start with this road here in Florida.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you, Mike Ungerman, for sending articles, sending that to us. And I would remind everyone, if you are listening, just send along an article to us, and you want us to talk about it on the show. We're more than happy to do that. So thank you, Mike, for doing that. That was great. This is this was a Kim Commando article that came out this morning. I'm not going to go into this. This has to do with IRS forms and tax. Just remember, it's tax month coming up, and Bob's talked about this. We've talked about a lot. It's a good reference article for the different forms and how not to get scammed and so on and so forth. So I just put that up there for information for everybody. Now this is very, very interesting. And I thought, Ray, I don't know if Ray saw this. Ray, did you see this article? Intel shares fall after company reveals $7 billion operating loss in its foundry business. Now I'm thinking, how can Intel lose $7 billion? Like, everyone needs chips, right? Like, how can they do that? Why are you going to lose $7 billion? Well, it appears that the interesting thing about it is that if in the article it talks about, let's look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA, of course, is a big company. They use lots of chips and so on and so forth. But when they design their chips, they design them, but they're produced in South Asia. They're not produced in the United States. They're produced in Southeast Asia, right? So the other companies are designing their chips, but they're not actually producing them. Intel is actually producing their chips and manufacturing them themselves, and of course, partly now in the United States. So we'll have to, and I say that to Ray because, of course, the Mesa and Phoenix and those areas now, particularly Crandall, is going to be the chip capital of the epicenter of making chips. So it's an interesting article. I thought, well, okay, so how's this all going to work? And I don't know, but it's an interesting article.
The loss must be related to the actual building out of these foundries.
That may be true, Ray. That may all be. That's the. But it was an interesting. It was interesting article as we.
Yeah, and their time and money is tied up while they're building, and they're not getting any income from that spending. So
could also be that.
It makes sense. Yeah.
And this is Amazon. We talked about this. Amazon's grocery stores to drop checkout. Yeah. And
Intel has had in Rio Rancho, which is very close to Albuquerque, has been there for years and years and years manufacturing chips.
Yes. And Amazon is laying off hundreds of employees in its cloud division. Amazon Web Services sales growth has slowed in recent quarters. So I guess I suspect a lot of that business is maybe being taken up by Google. Anyway, that was an interesting article.
Google and Microsoft.
Yes. Competition there is great. Now this was an interesting article. I think I posted. Yeah, this, of course, you all are aware of Taiwan's earthquake they had, and that the huge problems associated with that. But Taiwan makes a huge amount of semiconductors.
Oh yeah.
And the deadly earthquake has stopped chip making at, this is a particular company called TSMC. So we may get back into shortages of chips again. This is a big one. This plant got affected by the earthquake, and that is so I don't know what the final verdict on this be. I don't know. This just came out this morning, but we may be into some more problems. Did you guys? This is an article that came out a lot this week. I don't use Apple products, but the Apple App Store and Apple TV Plus down for an hour in a massive outage. And this happened a number of times this week. Were you affected? If anyone's out there listening and you got affected by this, I mean, it must have, it didn't bother me, but I don't think you're not Apple. You don't use a lot of Apple services, but I mean, this must have been a big thing if you had all Apple services. Did you guys read about this, or did you know anybody that got affected by it?
No,
I have Apple TV. I very seldom watch it. Yeah, and my iPad, I have not gone out to the store at all for it. I just use what's on there. So I didn't even know about it.
Right. Bob, did you, I can't remember. Did you talk about this on Monday about the Linux backdoor, the big?
Yes, I did.
You did. Okay, you talked about that. There was a big backdoor leak in Linux, which had been there for years and years and years, and nobody really knew much about it. And then they got discovered, and boom. So, guess they got to get that fixed. Yeah, we talked about that. This was an interesting one. We're going to talk a little bit about this probably on the Monday show as well. China is going to launch its 5G-A in 300 cities this year, as they are moving past 5G now and will soon be into 6. Well, they're already have their 6G networks up. So that was a interesting to look at the speeds at which they're obtaining. So if you want to steal some cars, AirTags are on sale. I thought I'd hurry. AirTag pack has just crashed to its lowest price on Amazon, just $18 per AirTag. So hopefully Ontario people and Canada aren't watching this. Anyway, that's an interesting one. Yeah. So what do you guys think about this? OpenAI drops its login requirements for ChatGPT's free version.
Yeah, that I believe is a 3.0, not the 3.5.
Well, the thing I don't understand, then, if you don't have an account, it's not going to know your history, right? You're just going to be able to do it. You're just going to be able to do it one of the things I like is to look at the history and see what I've talked about and all the stuff but if you don't have an account, it's not going to know that, eh?
Ron, we're getting towards that time, and we've got some other comments out here.
Okay, all right. Let's. I'll stop my share screen. Let's do the comments, Huey, and then we'll get on with it.
This is Mike.
Mike says, unless Microsoft locks Windows 10 users' computers after 2025, I will continue to do Windows 10 and not pay for it. I have sufficient security on the computer. Deb says, I think Google Shopping tool is exciting. Yeah, you're with me, Deb. I think this is great. I like using Google Lens to compare prices, but this could be better. This is, yeah. So I agree. I think this is going to be fun. I'm all for that.
It's the way I shop all the time. It is local, so I get to see what the prices are locally.
That's I don't know how they do that, but how the heck do they know what the local price at my Walmart is of a stick of butter, right? And it's there. It's and the sales are there as well. I don't know how that information gets in there, but it's amazing.
Magic.
Yeah. Thanks, Ron. I'd forgotten about Google Shopping. I'll have to give it a try. Honey, Keepa work well too. Yep. And we've talked about those many times. Those are all and of course Amazon is the big I do most of my shopping on Amazon because again it's the delivery. It just gets it right to me. But if I'm looking for something that I'm getting tired of being in the house all the time, I want to go out and actually buy something at a store, then I'll do the Amazon shopping and look and see what the prices of it are.
Buy my tax program, and I found it through shopping, and it was cheapest at Sam's, and I belong to Sam's, so I saved about $15.
Yeah. Dick says, I've been watching on my TV. I had to get my laptop to have a keyboard to tell you but I'm here. Okay, thanks, Dick. Thanks a lot. And Mike says, I watch several Apple TV series, some very good. Masters of the Air recommended. Dick says, I'm currently watching Masters of the Air, really good so far.
And that catches us up.
And
that catches it up to the top of the hour, too.
That's right. Yeah. We're finished. I said last week we should do this for 2 hours. You guys want to talk for another hour?
We have to if we want to get to some more articles.
Yeah, right. Anyway, thanks everyone for coming and listening to us. We had a great time today. Thank you, Huey. Thank you, Bob, and thank you, Ray, for coming. It's always a lot of fun doing this show. Lots of interesting articles, which we of course never finish all our articles we post. I would encourage you. Let me just put this up here. This is our Facebook page. I would encourage you to sign up, and we post articles all week long. All of us at Tech for Senior post interesting. We're reading an article and say it's interesting. We post it on there. So if you follow us along, you'll get all the interesting articles we do, and those are the ones we review. And we certainly encourage you to send us information like Mike did today. Mike Hungerman, thank you so much. We encourage you to send us articles if you want us to talk about them. I think that's really interesting. We don't get all the articles, and
we're lucky if we finish one day's worth of articles.
Yeah, but we'll make sure if you send me an article, I promise you I'll make sure that it's at top of the list, and we will talk about it. So we'll do that for you because it's a lot of fun, and you might find something that we just missed or didn't see. So so send it along. Like that's like the wireless charging in Florida. I think that's really super. We want you and Mike to keep an eye on that and give us updates as that goes along. I think that's going to be really cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, listen, don't forget, come and see us on Monday. Remember, it is a Zoom meeting. If you're listening here and you haven't actually come to our Monday meeting, it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of good stuff. And until then, we'll see you back here, same time, same place, probably the same gang, all next week. All right.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.